Hello everyone and welcome to Clarity 16.1.0 Supportability and Feature Training. I am Vib Mehrotra, and in this section we will be talking about the advanced filter that is going to be available in modern UX. So as part of this release, we are going to introduce the advanced filter capability in modern UX. The reason this is important is because customers that have been moving from classic UI to modern UX have constantly been asking the product management team of bringing the capability that exists in classic UI to bring that capability in modern UX, where they can filter based on complex conditions rather than just the straightforward simple conditions of all ORs or all AND conditions. So starting this release, we are going to introduce a new way to define advanced filter in modern UX. I do want to call out that this request also came through as part of our innovation panel. So this was voted up by our customers, and we are delivering one of those items that was voted up by the customers in the innovation panel. The advanced filter that's going to be available is going to be available in the grid view, timeline view, board view, and staff view. So it's going to be available throughout. And the way that it is available is that it'll allow the customers to define complex conditions by simple clicks and selecting attributes and defining and or between the two, which is by selecting all or any. This advanced filter is not going to be available in task workspace, allocation timeline, and staffing plan. The way this advanced filter would work, that by default when a user goes into any of their modern UX view, the grid view, the staff view, and so on, when they go in there, they would see their existing filter condition as it was before. The only difference, first thing they'll notice, is that the filter condition is moved from the right side to the left side. The second, they'll see that all their predefined filters are available. However, if they want to define a complex filter condition, there is this new button that's available right above their filter condition called Add Filter Groups. So the filtering or the advanced filtering is available by defining filter groups. Clicking on a filter group will essentially take the first set of conditions that were already defined. So any condition that were already defined, it'll put that in a group of its own, create a second group where the user can now start defining new filter conditions. And they can continue to add multiple filter groups by clicking on the add button. Adding a specific attribute in that specific filter group is done by clicking on the plus add filter. So by clicking on that, the list of attributes for that specific object will become available, and the user can define their filter condition for that specific attribute within the group. The user can then also define that within a group, are all of these conditions should be treated as all, which means all of these attribute conditions should be met, or any of those conditions should suffice. And that can be defined by clicking on the all or any within that filter group. This can be done for each filter group having its own set of all or any conditions. And then there is an overall all or any, which means between these filter groups. Should all of these filter groups conditions be met, or any of these filter group conditions is sufficient to filter the data down. The user can also click on the X within the filter group line to remove the entire filter group, or they can click on the remove filter group buttons to remove all the filter groups, that essentially removing it all. The user can also click on the X within a specific attribute to remove an attribute from the filter group. Here is a sample of the different complex conditions that could be created. So going top to bottom, if I wanted to filter my projects based on no templates and active projects only, but also should have a manager as Joyce Bauer or Cheryl Amos, or the sponsor as Beth Roberts, or the project type is a major projects. This complex condition can easily be defined by creating 3 different filter groups and then the conditions inside of those. Similarly, if I want another complex condition of template no, active yes, and the project name should contain either compliance or security. So I'm using the same attribute. I want 2 different conditions for it, and I can define that by defining 2 filter groups. And in one, I'm asking for the project name to contain either security, or the other one, I'm asking the project name to contain compliance. The third sample here is where I want project templates to be no, active yes, and the sponsor is either Beth Roberts or the manager is Patrick Clark. And I can do that by defining 2 filter groups and then defining the respective conditions. All right, with that, let's see the product in action. So I'm here in Clarity 16.1.0. I am in my project list layout, and to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and hide my widget so that you will get more real estate to see the data in this case. And I'm going to open my filter conditions because that's where we will be talking about majority. So by default, you can see that any filter conditions that I might have defined in the past, after upgrade, this is how they will appear, which is they'll just list out as defined before. Only difference being, instead of being on the right side, it is available on the left side. I can then create the add group button to add additional filter group, and then you can see that the filter group can be added by just doing so. Within here, I can also define an attribute within each group, such as I can say description, and I can say what condition do I want for description, and so on and so forth. So it's easy to define the different conditions. So let's take an example. If I want to build a condition where I know my users have populated a description for my projects, and sometimes they've used the word compliance and sometimes they've used the word security. So I want to find all the projects where description either contains compliance or contains security. So to do that, I'm going to create my filter groups. I'm going to have the filter group to say that I want to see only active non-template projects where the description contains compliance, or I want to also see any projects which is active is not a template and the description contains security. I want to make sure I don't need this third one. I can take this extra one that I created for demo. So my condition is active projects, which is not a template that contains compliance. I want all of this condition to be true. That is why this is set to all. I want active, not a template, and the description could contain security. I want all of these conditions to be true, but between these, I'll take either one. So I'll set the any between the groups, and now I see my 6 projects where description is either security or the description contains compliance. Let's look at another complex example which is preset for us, which is I'm going to go to an existing view. So any filter condition that I define in here can be saved as part of my view, and I can see that by going to a saved view with even more complex condition, which is I want any active projects with the template where these are the list of managers, or active template projects where the sponsor is Beth Roberts or the project type is major. So you can see a complex condition here, and the data is shown to me based on these different conditions. As I had mentioned, if I go into my task workspace, I do not have advanced filter capability in here. So if I go in here, you can see I can just add a filter to add a filter by additional attributes, but I do not have the add group button in here. And that concludes our section. Thank you.